What's good, people? Today, the topic of interest is building a strong sense of self esteem, part two. So, in yesterday, part one, we talked about the importance of self acceptance and we talked about what self esteem was. So, we established that self esteem is basically just the way that a person feels about themselves at any given moment in time. We discussed how our mind decides how we feel. So our mind is always watching us, always making judgments based on the decisions that we make. So every time you're honest, you live with integrity, you do what you say you're gonna do, you keep your own word, you stand up for yourself. Your mind's giving you points, is going yes, tick, points for you, Barry. Every time you go against your mind, every time you don't live with integrity, you lie to yourself, your mind's like taking away points. And then it adds these things up to create self-esteem or the way that you feel about yourself. So we said that the most important thing, the foundation, is acceptance, especially when it comes to difficult emotions. So seeing them for what they are, sitting with them, because when you sit with your difficult emotions and you accept your emotions, that's when you begin to see profound truths. So if you've not watched that video, go watch that one. In this video, we're going to be talking another component that makes self-esteem, which is the practice of living consciously, or in other words, taking responsibility for your life. So when I'm talking about the practice of living consciously, I want to like highlight the word practice. The word practice means that it's something you're going to have to continuously do for the rest of your life. So it's not one of those things like, I do this thing right and then I've got self-esteem for the rest of my life. Nah, man, self-esteem is something that you're going to continuously have to work on. Living consciously is something that you're going to have to continuously work on. And you're not always going to get it right. But the main aim is that we try get it right more often than we get it wrong, because that's when we're going to be sitting in a nice, cushy place in the regards to how we feel. So when I talk about living consciously, what exactly do I mean? When I'm talking about living consciously, it now stems from the point where you begin to realize the things that are bothering you, the things that kind of trouble you, and then you start to act on those things. So like all of us in different aspects of our life, we have things that do bother us, and a small part of it is kind of hoping that they just go away, or that somebody will take initiative and sort these problems out for us. So as a result, you don't act on them. So let me give you guys an example. So like for me, fitness is like a big part of my life. Fitness is like I'll say after personal development, it's like the next biggest thing. And I've had many different training partners in my life. And I remember, like, especially in my early years, I had many different training partners. And I had particular training partners who just always show up late. And when I'm talking about late, it's not like, 5, 10 minutes. I'm saying late, like hella late, like an hour and a half late. And I remember I'd wait for these guys. And it got to a point where I was beginning to feel resentful. And I came to a point where I accepted that I felt resentful that these people were showing up late. But I didn't really want to take initiative on it. I was like, I'll tell myself, oh, it's not that bad. They're still my boys. And I'd wait, but I could still feel the resentment. So I thought, nah, man, this thing can't continue. Me just losing hours in my day waiting on people. So I tried to address it, and they're like, yeah, don't worry, man. We'll come early next time. But they continued to come late. So I thought, okay, what can I take control over now? What can I do? What can I influence? So I decided, okay, no more waiting on people. I'll give people like a maximum of 10 minutes, and if they were late without like giving me notice, I'll dip. I'll just start the session without them. And there came a point now, there was one time where this person came late. They were coming late. I gave it 10 minutes and I started the session. I completed the session and I went home. Then they messaged me. They're like, oh, where are you, Josh? We're in the gym right now. I was like, I'm at home. I've completed the session. Like, I don't waited. We said this time, but you weren't here. And go figure. After that, people started arriving on time. Like, so they could arrive on time the whole time. They could. It's just that they thought it was okay with me because I told them that I wasn't taking responsibility for my own time. I wasn't living consciously in that particular area of my life. I was kind of just putting it on the back burner, hoping that this little problem will go away. And the same is true in many different areas of our lives. We all have this. Like, for example, in relationships, you see this a whole lot. Like, somebody's in the relationship has checked out. They're thinking, man, this relationship's over. I'm looking to leave. But rather than leaving and taking initiative and just breaking things off, you try to, because you don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. You're like, man, I don't want to hurt them. You try and manipulate the situation to try get them to a point where they see that the relationship is over, or they see what you see. So you start treating them badly, or you start avoiding them. You start, ducking their calls, ducking their messages. Right? These things create more pain for the other person, and it makes things harder. You're not taking responsibility in that area, and because you know the truth, because you know that this thing's over and you're not taking action on it, it's lowering your self-esteem. So self-esteem is not like self-esteem, or the low level self-esteem, it doesn't come down to like big things. It's an accumulation of small little things that you're not doing. In this area, you're not taking responsibility. In this area, you know the truth, you know something's off, but you're not doing anything about it. And then you begin to lower your own face, should I say, lower your face in your own eyes, lower your value in your own eyes. you begin to feel powerless because you're not taking initiative. So that's the video of the day. This video cannot be too long. So what I can do to help you guys out is I've got a sheet filled with sentence stems which will help you realize which parts of your life that you're not living consciously in, or which parts of your life that you're not taking full responsibility on. So if you'd like that sheet, just drop me a DM and I'll be happy to send that over to you via email. So you guys take care, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Peace.